Let's talk some sports, baby.
Taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by Jones.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thanks for spending some of your time with us tonight. As a reminder to all our listeners, besides being on all your favorite podcast platforms, A Drink of Wisdom is also on YouTube with each show segment available. Head on over. If you like what you hear, we'd appreciate your subscription. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday.
What's going on, man? It's the beard, it's the drink, it's the wisdom. Let's do it.
Let's talk some sports, baby. You know what it is. Let's go ahead and snap into this thing like a Slim Jim.
Let's do it, man. Episode 70, we dig into the 2020 NFL schedule and conclude our NFL draft grades of the AFC and NFC West. But first, our real sign of the sports rules return is tomorrow night in Jacksonville. UFC 249 brings a stacked card to town on ESPN and ESPN Plus, starting at 8 p.m. on Saturday. The main event of the night will be a lightweight championship bout between number 1 ranked contender Tony Ferguson versus number 4 ranked contender Justin Gaethje. There's plenty of other action in what should be a great test run of live sports returning. The arena will be without fans and limited staff with plenty of protective measures in place. So, Jay, before we get the fight analysis and drink, it's good we're seeing this event come in, right?
Yes, it is. This is definitely a positive indication of what could and should be to come in the coming weeks. And I would say maybe perhaps in the next month, we should see more and more of this. And if you recall, and I always point to the Rudy Gobert coronavirus test, it's kind of the catalyst that really shut everything down. And at the time, I believe I said 60 days. 60 days is about what we're looking at. And then we should be able to kind of reevaluate. And at that point, we should start seeing things move in this direction to where we see a little bit more and more of opening. And when we look at some of the different sports like UFC, when you take out the fans, I really don't see all that much reason why that we shouldn't be doing this. When you look at the one-on-one type sports, just test the fighters. I think it's fair to say we need to have tests, and if we do and they're good, let them fight. And you can apply this to other sports as well. When you look at NASCAR, I mean, one guy, everybody's in their own car. I don't think they're gonna catch it while they're out there, just rolling around passing each other. I'm looking at golf. I think golf is a sport you can make this work. You got two guys playing hole to hole with each other. You got caddies out there, but there's no big time physical contact going on. Tennis as well. These are all different type of sports where you can cut out fans, but you still should be able to have competition. That being said, I think in the next month or so, I want to see plans in place for other sports, NBA, Major League Baseball. I think it's getting to that time where we can start to see these things happening and we can resume the NBA season so we can get to playoff time. And I think at some point very quickly, Major League Baseball can get underway as well. Now, what that looks like, now I get what we got to go through. There's different states, there's different reopening plans. But Major League Baseball, Arizona has already said, hey, send them all down here. We'll play down here. We'll keep everybody confined to this area. We'll have testing. I think that's something the NBA can look into as well. I don't know where you want to go for it, but I would say Texas. Texas has 3 NBA cities. I don't know if you want to use those 3 arenas. Maybe you want to use college arenas down there too. But to me, there should be ways, and we should be creative enough where we can make this work. But the UFC, to get back to the issue at hand, and to give Dana White credit, Dana White, we talked about him here and there because he's kind of been at the forefront of trying to make stuff happen and come up with creative ways to put these events in motion and have these events. And this is a stacked card that we got coming up. So, we've talked about it. We talked about him considering buying his own island just to, have everybody confined, but also be able to have these fights take place. And I think it's a positive indication of what is to come. And I think this is something similar to what we saw with the NFL draft a couple weeks ago, this is something that this country desperately needs.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Jay said. And when you look at the big picture of what he's saying, look, this is the first step, all right? We got to take steps until we get full-blown again. This is the first step. Just like he said, I want to agree with, Dana White has been progressive with this. I think it's been other people that have been, other commissioners and presidents that's been as progressive. Now, the one thing that Dana White has in his pocket that, the NFL don't have or the NBA don't have is they have teams in selective areas. So what we know about this is, hey, New York might be like, we ain't buying it. But Florida might be like, hey, why not? So with that said, that is the hoop that, the NBAs, the NFLs, the MLBs, that's the hoop they have to jump in. Dana White don't have that problem. Even though the MMA is a global sport, he can make everything happen in one spot. He don't have to worry about putting a fight here, putting a fight in Arizona, putting a fight in California. He don't got to do that. So it allows him to be creative, and I do applaud him for not shutting it down. He could have easily been like, all right, listen, I'm going to go with the status quo. I'm going to shut everything down. But instead, he was patient. He kept chipping. And finally, we got UFC 249 going down tomorrow. All right. Listen, I'm going to try to break it down and as simple as I can to get all the information out there. I already said UFC 249. This is going to be a pay-per-view event. We got the early prelims that's going to come on at 6 on ESPN Plus. For those of you that don't know what ESPN Plus is, that is the streaming service of ESPN. You can get it for the hot $4.99 a month. Take that 1 cent off and make it $5 buckarooskies. You can get that for 5 months. Hey, and in my personal opinion, it is worth $4.99 a month once sports get full blown. I mean, don't buy it now and then be like, hey, this dude said this is worth it. Yeah, of course, nothing is worth it in the world of sports right now. But if just for the UFC fights, it makes it worth. It has a library where you can go back to old boxing, old MMA. It have football, college football game. It has a pretty extensive library. And for $5, let's be real here, it's a pretty good steal. But you got the early prelims that come on the ESPN Plus platform at 6 p.m. Then you have the ESPN prelims that's going to start at 8 on ESPN. Then you got the main card, which is the ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Yes, the ESPN Plus prelims and the pay-per-view comes on the same platform, but you have to pay the additional money for the pay-per-view. So let me make that clear. It is the same platform, just two different ways. So I'm just going to run through the main card. I don't want to put people to sleep by trying to go through all 14 fights on the card. The main card, we know the main event is an interim. This is what it should say. This is an interim lightweight championship defense by Tony Ferguson because he is the interim champion already. He's pretty much defending this title against him being the number 1 rated lightweight contender and also the interim champ. He's defending against the number 4 rated lightweight contender, Justin Gaethje. Listen, I'm just going to tell you like this. The one stark difference that we're going to see in this fight that we would have not seen, I don't think, if Ferguson would have fight Khabib, is that fight was going to go to the ground regardless. Either Khabib was going to get Ferguson on the ground or Ferguson was going to get Khabib on the ground. But that fight was going to go on the ground. With these two gentlemen, it's safe to say this one might stay on his feet to somebody, out sleep, getting an early nap. It's been a long day, might be a little jet lag, who knows? But somebody might go to sleep early in this one. Bring in the pillows. So this is going to be a slobber knocker. I'm telling you right now, both of these guys can take a high amount of damage. They can give a high amount. Just in Tony Ferguson last fight with Donald Cerrone was out here opening the kitchen sink on Tony Ferguson. I mean, giving him all he got. And I don't even think Tony Ferguson was cut open. It was amazing. I was like, this dude is a cyborg. How is he taking all this punishment? And he looks good as new. He hit Donald Cerrone one time. His whole eye socket looked like it was coming out. Like, what are we doing here? So, listen, let's not be fooled by this. we got to remember this about Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson has made weight twice for this fight. He made weight, the 155 pound, on the initial date that he was supposed to fight Khabib or Gaethje at that time, and then he made weight for this fight. So Tony Ferguson been ready for quite a while. And then you got Justin Gaethje here. He's finally getting his shot at a title. We'll see. I think it's well deserved. He did have to work his way up. He came from another promotion prior to this. I want to say this is 4th or 5th UFC fight. He came from another promotion where he pretty much was running roughshod. He came over here. He had a fantastic debut fight with Michael Johnson. Just crazy. But he showed how tough he was. So I do think he earned this fight. I can't wait to see it. And just to move on to I'm glad we got this as a main event because the co-main event is a bit of a head scratcher. Let's be real here. We got the bantamweight championship, 135-pound championship. We got the champion Henry Cejudo, which up to recently he was the flyweight champion, which is 125, and he was the bantamweight champion at 135. He vacated the 125, saying he don't really care about it no more. It is what it is, and now he's defending it against a guy that right now he's not even ranked in the top 10 in the bantamweight division. So that make people say, "Oh, what? Why is he getting a title shot?" What we have to remember is, in any sport, you have guys that's doing it, and then you got like legends, right? You got like you got Jerry Rice, and then you got like I don't know some run of the mill wide receiver. Well, when it comes to the bantamweight division, Dominique Cruz is like that legend. As you see his record, 22-2. The last time he fought is when he lost the belt to Cody Garbrandt at I forgot the UFC, but he lost the belt. He hasn't fought since then. This is his first fight. One thing I would tell people about Dominique Cruz. Dominique Cruz took 3 years out of fighting. 3 years. He came back, got thrown right into the main event for the bantamweight championship against Dillashaw, and he beat Dillashaw after not fighting for 3 years. This guy, his motto is, it's no such thing as ring rust. You can miss me with that. Either you out getting it or you're not. So he came back and made it happen. The reason I bring that up is because even though a lot of people think Dominique Cruz don't deserve this, he's still probably the greatest bantamweight to come through. He has shown that he can do this. He can come back off a long layoff, come back and win the title. So this is a very intriguing fight because I want to see, can Dominique Cruz do it again? I'm very interested in that. Or with Henry Cejudo, run through him. But I'm going to be honest. Henry Cejudo didn't look like a world beater when he won the title. Now, what happened in his defense was when he fought, his name don't come to me right now. Oh, Moraes was his name. When he fought Moraes ran out of gas in the second round, and then Henry Cejudo was just able to run circles and pretty much time him out. But in the first 2 rounds of that fight, Henry Cejudo was getting dragged up and down that octagon. He was getting that work. You know what I mean? But he survived. Moraes ran out of gas. It was what it was. Now Henry Cejudo is defending his title. So that should be interesting. But let's go down to this heavyweight bout. Oh, yeah, baby. You know what it is. The heavyweights. When every time you see these heavyweights come here, it's going down 1 or 2 ways. Somebody's getting knocked out, baby. And that's what's going to happen here. You got the number 2 ranked heavyweight in the heavyweight division, Francis Ngannou, a knockout artist. Hey, listen, if you don't know who he is, just go ahead and Google that name. You could just Google Ngannou knockout, and you're going to see that beautiful knockout of Alistair Overeem. He barely touched his chin, and he's still knocked out. I think he touched his chin with like 1 knuckle, just like the knuckle grazed his chin, and he was out of here, buddy. That's how much power he got. This dude is no joke. It's like really getting hit by a bus. And then Jerizo, Rosenstrike. I'm just going to stick with the last name, Rosenstrike. He's not too shabby when it comes to knockout. Matter of fact, if you Google his name, the first knockout going to come up is also Alistair Overeem. When he knocked him out, the impressive part was when he knocked him out, he split his whole lip from the bottom of his nose all the way down. It's just like his lip kind of just flapping in the post-fight interview. It looked pretty bad. But so I say that to say this. These 2 guys going to put on the show. I'm going with Francis Ngannou just because he has the most proven power on the highest level. He didn't smoked a lot of guys as a main event, so the only lackluster fight he done had thus far is when he fought for the championship, and then the fight right after that, he was a little gun shy. Outside of that dude, he puts on the show when he gets in that octagon. You best believe it. And then the second fight going into the main card, we got a featherweight fight at 145, the 7th-ranked featherweight division, featherweight contender, Jeremy Stephens. He's a bit of a veteran, as you can see that record, 28-17. He had a plenty of fights in his career. Jeremy Stephens, he's a hard-nosed featherweight. He's more famously known for when he tried to go back and forth with Conor McGregor at a press conference, and Conor McGregor asked him who he was, pretty much. If you actually go and look at the Conor McGregor, who the bloop is this guy? That's who he was talking to, Jeremy Stephens. And Jeremy Stephens pretty much been a meme ever since that. But listen, tough fighter. He's a bit of a gatekeeper for the featherweight division at this point. Even though he's top 10, top 10 in boxing and MMA don't really work like top 10 in, like, let's say college football or NFL. It's a little different. A lot of these guys just get ranked just because, they're not doing something, or the guy in front of them got beat up, or he retired, or whatever the case might be. So he is the number 7 ranked featherweight, but he's a bit of a gatekeeper. He's going against the up-and-comer, the number 9 ranked featherweight, Calvin Kattar. This guy's up-and-comer. He's a young stud, 20-4, haven't lost a fight in a while. When he first came in, bit rocky, but he didn't pick himself up. This should be a good fight. I'm going to go with Kattar in this one. I think at the end of the day, as much as I like Stevenson, he's old. He can't take as much punishment as he once could. He's more thinking about what he's gonna do down the road now. He's not worried about what's going. Kattar is still coming up trying to be a champion. That didn't pass for Stevens at this point. That part of his career is gone. So I'm gonna give the young hungry lion Kattar that one. And then to open up the main card, we got another heavyweight division. Greg Hardy, formerly of the Carolina Panthers. Mr. I'll smoke you and get you to change your story. You know what time it is. And now he found his second calling in his career in MMA, and Dana White that opened up the doors to him. Dana White told him like this: here's the deal. You're not going to come in here. You're not going to cut any corners. But if you come in here, you work hard, you show me you want to be a MMA fighter on the highest level, I get you in. Listen, for what it's worth, he's 6-2. I seen him. I seen both of his fights on the Dana White Tuesday Night Fighter series. He was smoking cats. He blowing through them. Bit of a rocket start once he actually fought on a UFC card. In his last fight, he got disqualified for throwing an illegal knee. It was a little controversial. Whatever the case might be, it didn't hurt him that bad because look where he at. He's back on the main card, back fighting in a premier spot. So they just show you what popularity do for you too. Because if his name was Greg Jamiro, we wouldn't be talking about this. But because he's Greg Hardy and he used to play in the NFL, he got a good following. So he's gonna be fighting on Jorgen De Castro, another up-and-comer. Haven't seen a whole lot. I do think if this was not Greg Hardy fighting him, he would be on the ESPN Plus prelim card, the early stuff. But he's fighting Greg Hardy, so he's on the main card. Kudos to him. But those are your 5 fights for your main card. And listen, the hit off before I wrap it up, the hit off on what we was talking about earlier. Look, I just want to say this, and we're talking about Dana White and his aggressiveness, how he keep things going and kept moving us forward. First of all, hey, Dana White is the GOAT. That's all it is to it. He the GOAT. He out here building hope in the nation, and this is where it's starting. Because at the end of the day, when we're worried about coronavirus this and coronavirus that and coronavirus this, when I go up to somebody and say, hey, do you watch MMA? Every now and then. You know it's coming on this weekend? Oh, for real? Yeah. Oh, I got some on the west side. Oh, I might throw some meat on the grill. Oh, man, I'm gonna go give this, because liquor stores was, they was considered essential, so they still open. Either way, go buy me a little something to drink. Oh, we about to do it up. That's hope. Because before that, it was when sports come back on, man. I ain't got nothing to do. It's boring. tired of Netflix. I'm tired of Hulu. I'm tired of this crap. Now you got something to watch. So, shouts out to Dana White. You the GOAT for this one. Hey, and yes, the fight will be in an empty arena, but the action's still going to go on. And I will tell people this. This is not the first event the UFC that had with an empty arena. This is actually the second event because we had a fight card in Brazil that had an empty arena as well. As everything was shutting down, Dana White still got off his last little UFC shots over at Brazil, and he got that card off before ESPN pulled the plug, and Disney was like, nah, Dana, we done. Wrap it up, Dana. We ain't got no more. So he got that fight off. So this is the second fight. So you know what he's doing. He know what needs to happen. He got it in Jacksonville. He didn't hit it where it's actually happening in Jacksonville. I mean, I guess I need to ask you, Cody, do you even know where the fight is happening since it's happening around your hometown?
Yeah, it's at the Veterans Memorial Arena downtown. It's the arena that isn't the stadium, basically, is what they're going to use.
Okay, so, I see new information. I thought it was just the world best secret up to this point. So, with all that said, fantastic fight. Fantastic card, I should say. Like you said, very, very stacked card. If I had enough time, I would go through all 14 fights. Shouts out, and I hope everybody be able to watch.
Yeah, I hope it's a good word for this. This is like Jay was saying, we really are getting a good first look at what we're going to be getting into with the return of sports, because we can have plans and stuff all day, but someone's got to do it first, right? And that's the biggest thing I take away from this is someone's got to do it first. Someone's got to actually go through the hoops. They've got to actually get the test. They've got to actually do it. So I think the UFC is a good guinea pig for this because, one, like you said, Dana White and then these guys are real forward thinking. They're real progressive. They're real kind of cutting edge. And two, I think the sport is a sport you can have without fans and have somewhat of a limited impact. Like the fans are there watching a good fight, but I feel like it's more, you're not rooting for it. It's like a home team at a football game. It's just, we're here for a good fight, but the crowd, I think, is kind of definitely a second, place or whatever to the actual fight itself. So I like that. And I like that not only, the state and the city were willing to kind of come in and help them out with that. We've been pretty like trying to get back soon here in Florida. So it's good to see that. And the card itself is good. I'm not going to sit here and you pretty much broke it down. But I did want to ask you, we're kind of short on time, Drake, but one question a lot of people have upcoming with this main card is, why would Tony Ferguson want to take this fight real quick? He was already scheduled to fight Khabib before the cancellation. It seems like, at best, he's going to be back to where he was before this, and at worst, he's going to be set back if he were to lose. So why do you think he took this fight real quick?
Well, I mean, he took the fight because, I think his competitive nature wasn't going to allow him to bag out just because he didn't fight Khabib. You got to understand, him and Khabib tried to fight 5 times. 5. It didn't happen. So he was like, listen, I'm not going to pack up my bags because I can't fight Khabib. Hey, Dana, give me somebody else. He's always been one of those guys. He don't turn down fights. If it makes sense, line me up. Justin Gaethje is a very worthy opponent. He is taking a bit of a risk. But listen, if he goes through Justin Gaethje like I think he can, then he's untouchable. What next? Unless he decides to fight McGregor next, who else? Nobody else is jumping him in line. That's a wrap. There's only 2 guys that could jump him. Gaethje was one of them. You could go and get him out the way, and McGregor is the other one. But we know McGregor, he's the opposite end now. He's the A side, so he's going to do what you just said. He's going to wait. Hey, I'll wait and see what's going to happen. No, he's a fighter. He welcomes the competition, and that's what it is. And he made weight twice for this fight. Twice. The original date and this date. He want the smoke. That's why. He just wants the smoke. That's all there is to it.
All right. UFC 249 on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and pay-per-view Saturday night.